Hello again, it's Amber from Night Owl Collage, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these beautiful woven journal covers. So this one I lined with paper because I only printed on one side, and this one I printed on both sides so I didn't have to line it. So you can do it either way, but you can also use these as a masterboard as well to make pockets and tags. Here's some examples I have. Here's pockets I've made, a journal card, a couple of tags, and a belly band. Let's get started. So I'm going to be using these papers again from the Get Your Chic On kit by Rach and Bella Crafts. I'll put a link to this kit in the description below. I am going to use a backing paper for this one. So I only printed out single-sided. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these into 1-inch strips. So I'm going to cut this one this way and this one this way. So one is going to be vertical, one's going to be horizontal. So we're going to cut in the 1-inch mark. We're just going to set them to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all these strips, and I will be back with you in just a second. Okay, I have all my strips cut. These longer strips were cut with the paper vertical, and the shorter strips were cut with the paper horizontal. So I'm going to start with my longer strips, and we are going to glue them to the paper. Now, I sewed the entire thing. I just use a little bit of glue to hold things in place until I sewed it down. But if you don't have a sewing machine, you can just glue the entire thing onto the backing paper. But I need to backtrack for a second because I don't think I explained that if you are just gluing, when you put the first set of strips down, to make sure that you only glue the ends so that you can weave the other papers through these strips. So when you go and weave the second set of strips through, then you will glue down the whole thing. So first set of strips, just glue the ends. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue at the edge, and we're going to line up the paper with the edge of the backing paper, and we're going to add these strips one by one. And when we add each strip, we're going to make sure that the strips are flush together, that we don't have any gaps in between. So this is basically like those art projects we did in elementary school where we did the paper weaving. I think we did that every single year. It's kind of burned into my brain. So I finally found something to use it for. So thank you, art teacher. I think I've had my kids do this a couple times. Did we ever use those things right there, or did your parents just throw them away? I don't know. I don't think I have any saved. We usually saved all our art projects, but I don't think any of the woven paper projects survived. Get these almost done with these. And if your strips get out of order, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to tell when you're, because these two got flipped around, but you're not going to be able to tell at the end. So once one set of strips is down, we're going to start with the other set of strips. I think I'll go this way. Okay. So now I'm going to start gluing on this side. And we're going to go over and under, weaving through the paper strips just like we did in elementary school. But if you're not sewing, again, you'll want to glue these pieces down as you're weaving them. Lift one, go under, over, under again. And if you just fix your paper if it moves slightly. Okay, we'll just go to the next strip. This time we're going to start going under first, and we're going to make sure again that these pieces are flush, no gaps in between them. Lift each strip and carefully put it underneath. Adjust your strip so there are no gaps. And we're just going to move down the paper. Start over. And I believe I mixed up these strips completely. They're not in the right order at all, so, but it doesn't matter. But how gorgeous are these papers? I use them for so much. I keep printing them out. I love them. Going with this, next one is under. And you also, if you want to, you can ink each strip before you weave it. So I'll show you the difference. This one is I inked each strip before I wove it in, and this one is uninked. So they both look great, but it's just personal preference. The inside isn't inked. I just did the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this so you don't have to sit here and watch me the whole time, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've woven all my paper strips, and I'm just going to adjust them a little bit to make sure I don't have any gaps. You can see that I started to have some gaps here in the paper. So I'm just going to push the strips tightly together so we don't have any of those gaps. This way. Got it. And then I'm going to glue down these loose ends here so they don't slip when I'm sewing. And if your paper's puckering at all, just give it a little tug because we want this to be nice and tight. anything coming loose. Just a dab of glue to hold it in place. Now we've got our paper, and this is onto our backing paper. It's just lightly glued right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew a zigzag stitch on every line this way and every line this way. So I'm gonna go take it to the sewing machine and get that done, and I'll show you what it looks like when I get back. Okay, so I've got this all stitched, and you'll notice I haven't stitched around the edges yet because I need to trim up and clean it up before I do the edges. But so we have this beautiful side, and then we've got nice a grid pattern on the inside, which is fun. So we're gonna take my paper trimmer, and I'm going to use the edges of the strips to help me know where to cut. Okay, so this edge right here with these strips, that's where I'm going to cut to make a clean edge. Do this side. I'm going to cut right here along the edge, line it up with this edge of the strip. The paper trimmer usually doesn't cut the threads, so make sure you have some thread scissors handy. And cut this side. And this side. We're going to clean up our edges by cutting off the threads here. Trimming that up, and like halfway through my stitching I ran out of the pink thread I was using. Luckily the other pink thread, it's not the same color, but it doesn't, you can't really tell, so make sure you have plenty of thread left of the color you want to use. Okay, so I still got some white here, so I'm gonna trim that up. Okay, so clean up this mess. And before I sew around the edges, I'm going to go ahead and fold it so I can see if it's uneven at all. Okay. So I can see that it's pretty much even. I might have to trim it a little at the bottom. now I am ready to go ahead and do a zigzag stitch around all 4 sides. I'll be right back. All right, it's all stitched up. I'm just gonna go ahead and ink it. I've been using my Victorian velvet a lot for my shabby chic stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and use vintage photo just for a change of pace. Let's see what this looks like. I really love this patchwork feel to it. I think it's really pretty. Oh, I hate inking. It takes such a long time. But it's necessary to make it look finished. Well, not always necessary, but a lot of the time. All right, that is done. I hope you enjoyed this project. Let me know what you think and how you're going to use it. And if you're part of the Junk Journal Trading Post Facebook group with Rach and Bella Crafts, come on over and show me some pictures of what you created. And thanks for watching. Click that like button and subscribe button if you haven't, and I will see you soon.